We here, we hot. It's the RoundHouse RoundTable. We know y'all missed us. We know it. We can see it on y'all faces. We know. And we back. So it's me and Monty T, and I got the lovely B in the building. Let's get it.
I swear my glow up in lightning. Hot year, something like lightning. This shit a hit on my psychic. She want me lick, I'm excited. See, I feel that's my business, and that's why I'm business minded. Need a push, get behind it. It's science, apply it. Worst come to worst, you tried it. Get it bad, get inspired. Shoot your shot, just the effort. I admire. You're high, it ain't looking for friends at this point.
Oh my God,
my circle is smaller than the point.
No cap.
I'd rather sit in voice than hearing the fake on their voice.
We already have
business report.
All right. So we are reporting live from Paris. Well, we're not reporting live from Paris, but that's the one. That's what we going on right now. The UFC Fight Night Paris, whatever you want to call it, but it was some statements made, and Paris hit a clean sweep.
Ooh.
Everybody showed up. Everybody from Paris, from France, they showed up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So first, no cap recap. We're gonna do it how we always do it. We're gonna start it off with the prelims. Stephanie Edgar versus Aline Perez. And that ended in the second round submission. It was a good fight in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Perez was definitely giving Edgar some problems, but her judo kicked in the areas where it needed to, especially with her having long legs. I think that played a good part in her, with her takedowns in general.
Yeah.
And I won't forget that this is the same Stephanie Edgar that when they asked her what she submitted in her last fight, she ain't say nothing. So her integrity is shot with me forever. So like it's cool. Good W. Shout out to her for getting a W. But
yeah, I was definitely rooting for Perez in this one, and she was definitely in her face. And then she got caught in the last couple of seconds on the second round and, got submitted. But she was doing a good job up until then. I'm going to be honest, I didn't want Stephanie Edgar to win just because, she didn't want to speak up last time she got arm barred. So, that would... I'm still a little salty about that. So, but it is what it is.
That holds a special place in our heart. Like
it does.
Like these fighters really work hard for that shit. And she going, oh no, like, cause what if she would have got away with it and won that fight?
Right.
That would have been sickening. But either way, they want her to get another fight. So that's why they put her on this card too.
Yeah, she took this fight on short notice. So I guess you got to get it where you can. And she got the W.
She stepped
but
up.
Yeah.
Tried to clear her name, but yeah. Next, Khalid Taha versus Christian Quinones. And this was a bantamweight. This was a round one KO. Christian came out there looking strong, but Khalid came out there looking jumpy, not jumpy in the sense of worry, but in the sense of just trying to be technical, but probably his mind was going faster than his body was. And they got him caught because Christian was very calm and he was still pushing the fight towards him. Yeah,
Christian also had like a weird stance. He had his arms like down and his full neck exposed, and just like you caught him, if you catch him at the right time, you could definitely get a clean cut knockout with him. And that's what I thought was going to happen. But, he was staying busy, changing up his stance and his direction. And he was doing a good job of just being hard to catch. So, shouts out to him.
Yeah, him holding his hands low like that was the demise of Taha, because Taha was holding his hands super high. So
and close super and high, stiff.
You can't see anything that's coming along these lines. So his hand's coming this way, and then you finally move your hand, and then it's already there.
Yeah.
So I think, and that's exactly how he got caught too. Having his
and this was a height difference too.
Time. Yep.
This was a height difference. Taha was shorter, and I thought he was going to be able to weave in and weave out, but that was not the case at all. He got caught.
Yeah, in a bad way. Went out crazy. Next, Benoit Saint Denis from France versus Gabriel Miranda. This was a round 2W by Saint Denis. Yep. He was just not going to be denied because Gabriel was really putting pressure on him, but it turned the tide once after the first round when he almost finished him. Once the second round came, it was just like, oh yeah, it's done. It's done.
Yeah, them up kicks gave him a couple of extra seconds, a breather into the second round, but he ended up still getting clipped with that punch. And there was just no question he was not really gonna recover in time because he was still hurt from round one. So,
yeah. That was the shortest 60 seconds of his life. Because like once he got off that stool, it was it.
Yeah, it wasn't enough to recover. So,
and that's how the story of France started. How they really got a clean sweep. Speaking of clean sweep, next Zaim versus Figlak. This one was round 3. This was unanimous decision. Figlak was a good target for Zaim. He really was landing those good body shots and making it hard for him to try to close distance on him. So he was good at maintaining that distance, and he used his ground game when he needed to, which was awesome. It's just like from the last time he fought, his ground game excelled a lot. Like sometimes like these guys are not getting on the ground for a long period of time and learning so much. So imagine if you actually trained on the ground. These guys are learning with submissions and top control and all these things are how they're helpful, these strikers. And it's good that he's catching on to the actual ground game.
Yeah, because it's important to have a ground game. You don't want to just be a striker and always worrying about the takedown. Then that takes you off of what you're trying to do, and you focus in on what they want to do. And they hold the power because once they get you to the ground, you don't know how to get back up. So it's beneficial to at least get the basics foundation of a ground game. That way, if somebody takes you down, you at least know how to get back up. And Michael was undefeated prior to this, so he just got a 1.
Yeah, put a 1 on
his. Yeah, he put a 1 on it. Yeah, he had some really thick legs. I I didn't think he was going to be able to bruise his legs up as much as he did, but them things was turning red, and he stayed active on his big thick legs. I'm happy he was able to take this. I'm happy he was able, because it's usually like the thicker leg person striking the skinnier leg person, but in this sense, the roles were reversed, and I was just really surprised to see it. So, shouts out to him.
Shouts out to Zaim on a W. Lightweight, he's looking good for the lightweight now. They learning that they're gonna have to get a ground game. They're like Charles Oliveira or Islam. Let me just go ahead and get this wrestling class out the way.
Yeah, Charles Oliveira can beat you on the feet or on the ground. Pick your poison.
Yeah. See the thing about him, like that aggressive jiu-jitsu is wrestling. Like that's how motherfuckers get caught all day long by that aggressive jiu-jitsu.
But the wrestlers, if they not working on their submissions, Kamaru Usman, you could be a great wrestler all day, but you slip up, and he already down there in a dominant position. He could easily get submissions, choke somebody out really quick. So it's just beneficial to have more weapons in your arsenal. I'm gonna keep saying that because it's always beneficial.
Always. Next, John McAdoo versus Naser Paris.
I don't know.
And I was going to keep going with it. And McAdoo was pretty much walking him down to his demise. And Naser was being quick on his feet.
Yeah.
But he was just doing enough to win. This was a good fight. He got it, he got it done. It seemed like his punches weren't really being effective until, the third. But by that time, every time McAdoo was landing, it was strong. You could tell the power different was there. Hasparas was just landing more.
Yeah, because the tenderizing happens in round 1 and round 2. And then round 3, you're just trying to put a stamp on it. And that's, just me and my thoughts.
Yeah, but the overall is get in there and finish it.
Yeah, but you also don't want to wear yourself out, and then like we've seen before, like people just throwing everything into trying to get somebody out of there, and it doesn't happen, and then they get dominated in round 2 and in round 3 because they can't recover.
Well, trying to get somebody out there don't mean going balls to the wall. That don't mean like really trying swinging for the fences. That's in the sense of like if you could put a combo together and you see somebody fall back some, you're not backing up and waiting to reset. Like you're trying to move forward. So it wasn't too much move forward. It was more of move around and not be a still target.
Oh, not enough forward pressure of being aggressive. I got you.
Speaking of still target, next Dustin Stolfus versus Abus Magomedov, and that name sound like somebody not to play with.
Yep, debut.
In his debut, after he won, beating Dustin Stofels, he was like, "Okay, all right, I knew this was supposed to happen. So where's my food?" And that's how he was looking. Middleweight is looking crazy right now because the bantamweight was a hot topic for a minute, and before that it was the heavyweight going off. But now middleweight is really coming up because they got some things they got to figure out. And with these fights that we're gonna get into later with the Marvin Vettori and Whittaker, they just still holding the line up. But next, we out of the prelims. We in the main card. We here. Main card. We got Charles Jourdain versus Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel Wood came through with the W. These motherfuckers just stood in the pocket and just punched each other in the head with uppercuts and short hooks all night. And then every once in a while, Nathaniel Wood will lay some wood and have Charles Jourdain shook up a little bit.
Yep.
Charles Jourdain, he saw some power tonight. And it's almost like when he got handled on the ground versus Shane Burgos in his last fight, it's almost like, oh, I don't got to worry about Nathaniel Wood. I'm good. I'm a black belt, remember? That was just a fluke. He was just a little bit better than me on the ground. So it's almost like he didn't really put any extra work on the ground and since his last fight, which is why he got the same outcome that he got, which he's a black belt, And I think when you get to those people that's like white belt, blue belts, even the purple belts, those are the ones that's closer to the fundamentals. So it's just like, that's why you see them really like getting it done. Or it's the black belts that like compete, like championship type. But that didn't help him out today.
No.
Nathaniel Wood was staying on top. He kept his wrestling solid. So shout out to Nathaniel Wood. Next, we have William Gomez versus Jarno Aarons. Shout out to William Gomez on the W. Super composed. Legs were super close together. Made me nervous.
Yeah, what was up with that?
I don't know. But I noticed he'll move a lot, and then as his opponent is like slowing down and set up for their shot, he'll make a move like this, and they'll reset everything they're about to do, or just throw a leg kick or something out there. So it's almost like he playing chess, and he had somewhat of a good game plan so far. But his ground game was looking elite. His hands were looking elite. He was finishing off his combinations with kicks, putting a cherry on the top. So he pretty much put on a masterclass for his fight. He didn't get to finish, but it was a clear cut. Did somebody put a draw? Somebody put a draw.
He tried, the last judge, but that triangle that was at the end, at the closeout, him just being able to slip out of that due to all the sweat, because he had a good grip on it, but that sweat, you just waited out. He was just sliding out of there. So, shouts out to him for being patient and waiting it out.
And I hope submission defenses are worth something, because those are like a big pivotal part in the fight. That's just like somebody getting a knockdown. People get excited just as much when people get out of submission. So just like how submission attempts are worth something, why is not a submission escape? That should be worth something. If not as much as an actual attempt, a little bit less, but either way, worth something. Shout out to William Gomez on getting out of that fucking triangle first, and then the W, because he had to get out the triangle first to get the W. That shit was tight.
Glad he held out. He said the crowd helped him stay motivated to not end it like that. So shout out to him because he was able to win the fight.
Yeah, and he threw up a Hail Mary right then and there. And I'd be sick too if you go back and look at the film and see if you would have just put an underhook underneath his arm, that would have kept them up in there. But either way, good shit. William Gomez from France getting it done. What? What? That's where they from.
Okay, you was trying to say it with an accent.
It's not an accent. That's how they say it.
Sure.
So Roman Copperloft versus Alessio De Chirico. Copperloft came through with the W. Chirico was
high off that fluke that he got with with Buckley. That was a fluke. When I watched that fight, I think it was stopped prematurely. It was just timing. He was surprised. He was throwing up high kicks, thought it was going to land, and he was putting a lot of investment into those, and he was getting touched up a lot. He did have Roman, rocked a couple times in the second round, but Roman just stayed consistent in the third round and just kept touching him up and then touched him out.
Yep, got him out of there.
Yes, he did.
It was it seemed like he was just putting more power on his punches, and like his punches were more identified throughout the whole fight. Like, cause he got rocked a few times, but like he was constantly moving forward.
Yeah.
That's the important part about that. That motherfucker was moving forward. Damn, speaking of moving forward, next. Nasruddin Imam versus Joaquin Buckley.
Yep. Yeah, because it's the only person I bet on. I was hoping he was coming through as an underdog, but he could not seem to close the distance. This man was just too tall and out of reach. He was just missing him just by, just barely missing him each time. And he was throwing everything into it. So my question is, like, do you train with taller people? Do you train with different body types? Is that something that's worked on, or like, are you training with people all the same height as you? Because that could hinder you, because you have to switch up your game plan when somebody's taller than you. You have to be able to close that distance and not just swing for the fences.
With everybody's height, you got to figure out what resources you can use around you.
Exactly.
So it's just like, if you got shorter height, that means you need to find more resources around you that can help pretty much counter for that. So getting him his back towards the cage, going with him, keeping his back towards the cage and closing him in towards the cage. Those are things that normally come as people, get more experience in fighting, in the sense of like, because, he's still new to this shit, but at the same time, like, he looked like he's going to have longevity in him. So I just think one is, if you get better at closing the cage off and closing that, because that's how you close the distance. And you're already good with the agility and working your way in there, because that's how he got the success that he did have. I thought unanimous. I don't know about that. They pressed that one a little bit, but I think Nasruddin did a good job by staying composed. He just watched your other fights. He stayed composed and then watched you move around and just kept his hand out,
Yeah, because in the last round, third round, he was dying, and he was just like a standing still target for him. Granted, he got hit with some really good shots, but he didn't drop. But it's rough.
Buckley's cardio was there, showed up, and Nasruddin. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand really how it was. I don't know. It wasn't really like impressive about this fight, because I did see the shots that he landed. And it's just like, if it's somebody constantly pushing the pace, and he come in and land every once in a while, it's just like, I don't understand how that's a unanimous decision. So that's why I'm saying, yes, staying out of reach. But the times he did get touched, I'm, I don't know. I digress.
Yeah.
But next, speaking of what happens next, Robert Whittaker versus Marvin Vettori. Both of these guys already got a title shot. Robert Whittaker is still talking about, hey, get a title shot. Nah, he's just saying that because that's what feels good to say. Like, I think that Robert Whittaker should take another fight.
Who he gonna fight?
Pereira.
Pereira already fighting.
Yeah, but after Pereira fights. So no matter what Pereira happens to Pereira, he fights Pereira next. I think that's how it should go.
Because he got beat by Adesanya twice?
No, because that's like the next person on the list. He beat Marvin Vettori, and it's just like, what type of fashion? He kind of stood there and they just kind of hung out.
No, that ain't even true. I think it was more technical, because you was like, everybody sleep on Marvin Vettori. No, Robert Whittaker went in there and made him look basic as hell. He had his one or two good moments, but
3 rounds. It was 3 rounds. It ain't for you to go in there and try to make a 3 round look like a 5 round. That's not what the 3 round is there for. A 3 round is there for you to prove yourself. When you get to the 5 round area, that's when where it's competition, not competition, but it's like championship. That's where the championship level. It's like, you lost in the championship fight twice. So now it's not time to display your championship caliber. It's time to display how you can get a finish and prove yourself to be somebody that's worth a title shot.
But I think he just, he went in it as if this was a championship bout.
That's what I think. Because I think he's just used to that.
I think both of them went in with that mindset, especially because they both got beat. The only losses on their record is from Adesanya. So it's just like, who's the better out of us two? I want to be technical with you and not, go crazy, because when you're going crazy, that's when your mind get in the midst of it, and that's how you slip up. So it's just like, you got to stay technical. And I think that's what they were just both trying to prove, is just staying technical and just Robert just kept touching him up.
Yeah, Robert was just staying more technical because, like, not Marvin, but Robert was staying more technical than Marvin because it was moments where Marvin was trying to pop off and Whittaker would just catch him right on that counter shot, right off as soon as he make a move.
That's exactly what he said he was going to do. He said Marvin was going to try to make it a bar fight, a bar brawl, and he was not having any of that. He was just going to be technical with him and touch him up, and that's exactly what he did.
Which was like, okay, all right, that's what's up, Robert Whittaker. That's good.
I'm about to say, don't be like that.
Another W.
Don't be like that.
Where do we go from here?
So you'll feel better if he would have knocked him out? Is that what you're saying?
Put a stamp on it. Like, if you're going, like, if the whole thing is like, I want a title shot, no, I'm just trying to stay in the top 10. That's what he's saying. He's not saying I want a title shot. He said, no, I'm just trying to make sure I stay in the top 10.
No, he said he want to go after that belt next. Like, it's always about the belt. But he might just be at that one for a minute.
Since this is the third time, you need to make it about something else. You need to make it about something else. Make it about Izzy this time. Make it about study him. And what he has going on and ways that you can be a better fighter. Let's go about this a different route, Robert Whittaker.
Because Robert Whittaker is a well-rounded fighter, and I'm trying to figure out, like, how is he not beating this man if he got a ground game? He got a stand-up game. It's just like
it'd be the mental battle.
Damn, that's crazy.
They be beat before they get in the octagon.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And then that's when they get to the 4th, 5th round and they try to duplicate the same things that they've been doing. Left, right, head kick, left, right, head kick, left, right, head kick. That's Robert Whittaker right there at 4th and 5th round. Throwing Hail Marys. Speaking of a Hail Mary, this wasn't really no Hail Mary. This was getting it done early so he could show out for Franc. Shout out to Cyril Gone.
I hope that's your last one.
Versus Tai Tuivasa. And this is the first time I've seen Tai Tuivasa do his dance when he ain't want to.
No, you didn't.
For real. It's real. It's real. People be singing their own demise. Like Red Fox, the comedian, he used to always fake the heart attack, and you see how he died, like things like that. Like, that's one small example of how people kind of like, and when he beat people, that's his thing he do his little shake. And when he got caught, that's what he did, his little shimmy. And I was like, damn, that looks very familiar. But Cyril Gone caught that one on the back of the head. That one played a big part. That one punch deserved a little piece of the check too.
That was all neck. He got all neck.
That was all neck. That wasn't the back of the head.
That was not the back. I looked at it. I was like, dang, I bet you that felt so terrible.
Yeah,
I know that. I want Tai Tuivasa to post pictures of his stomach in about 7 days or even 3 days. I want to see what that bruise looked like because it was already bruising up in the match. And if it's bruising up in the match, it's bad. It had to be so bad. He had so many kicks to the stomach. It was ridiculous.
The big toe was pointing in. That's when the big toe was pointing in and he grabbed his stomach. I was like, yeah, that one had to be that had to be that one because he got a couple ones before that like he looked like he was just trying to tough through it.
Yeah. It was getting worse and worse. And Cyril Gone, he saw the vulnerability and he exploited it. And I can always appreciate that. I knew like if Tuivasa was going to win, it was going to be on, him, Cyril Gone getting caught. But that was just a small percentage. Like it's possible for him to win, but it's very small percentage. And I think Cyril Gone did a great job staying technical, composed, and, having that killer instinct once he did see that he was hurt. But he did, he faked one where he acted like he was about to fall and he didn't fall and he started swinging. I was like, oh, it's the mind games. It's the mind games. Somebody else would have fell for that. And they would have just been knocked out.
A dumbass would have fell for that.
And that was crazy.
He took a note out of Derek Lewis' book like shit.
Hey, you gotta learn something.
We cannot dismiss that Cyril Gone did get baptized in a second. Like straight up.
He recovered though.
What's his name? Jamal Hill. The way Jamal Hill did. What's his name? Johnny Walker. No, Johnny Walker, when he went back like that. That was one of those, but the way he recovered was elite. The recovery was elite.
Yes.
So he put on another one for Frank for the whole show, shut down the show for the first show in Frank.
And I think it's only a matter of time for Cyril Gane's champion. He's a well-rounded fighter, and he is constantly working to get better. He's young. He's still new to the UFC. I think it's like his 3rd or 4th year, and look where he's at. So I think it's only a matter of time. If Francis Ngannou wants to say, I don't want to fight no more, he's going to gladly step into that position and, just give everybody a run for their money. So, Francis Ngannou,
and a Cyril Gane in his prime versus a John Jones that's been like he's been out of the game for a little bit. That's something that I would want to see, because like we've said it before, like once, even after the Ngannou fight, we was like, this is not the end of Cyril Gane. We gonna see Cyril Gane again. Like he's gonna be back here again. Yeah. So whatever.
Tattoo too. He's gonna be back too. He's fresh into the UFC. He hasn't been around that long, but I was very interested to see if he was gonna take a technical approach to this fight, and he did. He was a little bit calmer and he was getting patient, but when he started getting touched up, he started getting impatient.
Turning that shit on,
yeah, he wanted to. So I think he just has some, a little bit more mental gain from this, and I think he's gonna be right where he needs to be in a couple fights. He's gonna be right back up as a #1 contender. That's what I see for him.
Oh shit. And that's everything for the No Cap recap for UFC Paris. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. It's the RoundHouse RoundTable. We know y'all missed us last week because y'all ain't get to hear our mouth. We appreciate it. Make sure y'all go rock with us on the Instagram page, the Twitter page. We always talk shit on there. So if anything that's there that's wild,
it's
said
Armani. It's Armani.
Okay, yeah, I said it.
Thank you.
I said it. If it's on anything, I said it. I stand on that on the RoundHouse. I'll stand on the RoundHouse RoundTable and say I said it. But make sure y'all go rock with us. And I don't want to forget to mention this, but just to let y'all know, Queen B got 2nd place in her first jiu-jitsu tournament. She did her thing out there. We're super happy for her, and we're glad to see that people that is on this show are really, on these mats and, not just talking that shit, but walking the walk. So proud of you. And can't wait to see you in your next tournament.
Thank you.
And that's the end of our show. Appreciate y'all rocking with us, and we out.
That's why I use the heat as a sword, cause keep the peace is important. They go keys for you. Say please. That's 1, please. Don't need no 1, that's 2, please. Don't leave. That's 3, 4. If you do.